What is up, recruits? My name is Mike, and this is a very special episode of Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, the newest graphical spreadsheet simulator from Paradox. So we're about to start a new game. As you can see, I have played through nearly half of the Italian tutorial, which I believe makes me fully qualified on top of my Hearts of Iron 1 experience, where I played when it first came out, mostly with cheats on. Makes me fully qualified to walk you through this very special playthrough. So we're going to get going. We're going to choose starting on January 1st of 1936. And obviously we're going to choose our good friends, the Germans. We're going to select them. And we're going to leave everything on the regular default settings, regular difficulty. And we're going to leave the AI on historical so they can do their very best to try to play out World War II the way it actually did. And we'll make them a little bit more predictable for us. So let's start. And we are off to the races. Okay, so let me explain a little bit of what we're going to do here. So while it would be nice to play as Germany and just conquer conquer Europe in World War II and rewrite history, I have a much bigger and much more dire focus on hand. Namely, the hook-nosed, scheming, money-grubbing cockroaches that just leech off the goodwill of the German people. And of course, I am talking about those fucking Canadians. So we're going to do our very best to nuke the shit out of Canada, all those pompous polar bear riding assholes, and turn their winter wonderland into a nuclear winter wonderland. So this idea came to me when I was playing the Italian tutorial, because I noticed that Iceland and Greenland are actually all part of Denmark, which is interesting because based on my grade 10 knowledge of history, at this point in history, Iceland was actually independent. They were actually independent after World War I, like 1918, I don't know, something like that. And they were actually independent, and it's actually where the Danish sort of high command and government fled after capitulating to Hitler. They actually fled to Iceland to chill out and, you know, lick their wounds and contemplate how they went from just a few short years ago starring in the hit TV series Vikings to now being demolished by the Germans. Ironically, it was actually the UK that invaded Denmark because they were afraid the Germans were going to do. The UK actually violated they invaded Iceland. They violated Icelandic neutrality in order to cut Iceland off from the Germans. And it was all for kind of naught because the Germans had considered invading Iceland, but they figured it was a waste of time. But we're not going to make that mistake. Obviously, Iceland is key to us because if we can make Denmark capitulate, I think that means we get both of these, which puts us, I think, in range of our mortal enemies over here. So let's get going with our grand God-given quest to make this happen. We'll start with the top. I'm actually going to start with the national focus, I think. Let's look at the technology. So, I mean, the problem with technology, if we're going to really go seriously after nukes, and that's over here in industry, nope, it's over here in engineering, is it's a 1940 technology, which is 1,500 days away. And we don't have time for that. We can't waste our time with atomic research right away. The penalty gets smaller the closer you get. So we got to wait for a bit. But in the Reich focus tree, we actually have an extra research slot down here, which is going to help us out. So we're going to go for that first, which means we have to get both of these and air innovations in order to do that. Along the way, we may grab one of these, but I want to keep an eye on the world tension. So I'm going to do this right away before I lose my train of thought. We're going to add maximum infrastructure to a bunch of German territories. Sounds good to me. The key with world tension is I think it's at the 25% mark is where some of the big nations like the UK and France can start guaranteeing the independence of some of the little baby nations. So what we need to do is make sure that anything we're going to do outside of the normal scope of World War II, we need to do that before the 25% mark hits. Because if we miss that and don't take advantage of it, then we're all of a sudden in a war with the Allies, and we want to avoid that. So we'll do our best to take as much territory as possible, but we're going to sandbag a bit to make sure that we can accomplish our overarching goals without pissing off everybody else too much. So research slot. So in order to get our way on to nuclear research, I'm going to do whatever we can in the first little bit here to worry about industry and research. So we're going to get our basic machine tools. We're going to get our construction. And then for the last one, I don't know, maybe we'll look at one of the doctrines real quick because all the other equipment, tanks and so on, are not gonna, we can't get them yet. They're too far advanced, 1940 and so on. The research penalties are just way too steep. So it gives us a freebie on this one, so mobile warfare. So we'll just roll with this tree. I think this one gives me plus 15%, plus 15 organization. Sure, why not? We'll do that. And then we have our initial research setup, pretty basic. Civilian factories. So I'm going to use our civilian factories to build more civilian factories. We're going to build a few over here, hopefully, out of the way of bombing runs. We'll start with 4. The reason we're going to need a lot of civilian factories, I think, is because the civilian factories are what you use to build these sorts of things, like your factories and your infrastructure. And looking at these things, they have shit infrastructure, which is obviously historically accurate then as it is now. And they also have no air bases and nothing else of value. So we're going to need a whole lot of infrastructure, or rather civilian factories, in order to build these things up to make them viable military bases. So we're going to start with that. I think 4 will be a good start. We can always add on more later. For our military factories, so we have to kind of think about what we need. So air superiority is going to be incredibly, incredibly important. Especially if the UK gets involved, we need air superiority to keep their bombers off our asses. So I think we'll be focusing, I mean, obviously we need infantry as well, and we always need more and more infantry, so we're going to do that. We'll fill up a little of the support equipment, because we're going to start building some more troops as well, and the towed artillery to go with it. We'll get some tanks, and we'll get some fighters. So that's a pretty good run. We'll get one more fighter. So we're going to be churning out fighters as quickly as we can in order to build up as big of an air force as possible to protect our homeland. And as for boats, honestly, I think we're going to play to our strengths. Because, I mean, to be honest, it doesn't matter how aggressive we go on the Navy. We're not going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Royal Fleet, nor are we going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the big bad boys over here once they get in the war. God willing, that'll be as far away as possible. But we'll play to our strengths. We'll mostly build submarines, mostly just to guard our convoys and transports, and just to mildly annoy the UK as we blow up some of their convoys. So there we go. Of course, that's going to put us in a huge deficit for some of our resources, so we'll take care of that right away. We need oil. We need, what else do we need? We need rubber and oil. So I will grab that from the United States. And for rubber, I will grab that, ironically, I suppose, from the United Kingdom. All right, that's that. It'll hopefully go once we unpause. Lastly, as kind of a dick move, what I'm going to do is I was playing around with this boost party popularity, and it seems to be pretty powerful. I'm going to spend a little bit of our party popularity in order to build a fascist nation or a fascist faction inside of the United States. Historically, there actually was, I believe, a pretty strong and prominent fascist faction in the US that really was looking and eager to be admiring the German people, famously of which I believe Henry Ford was actually one of. He was pretty keen on all the German efficiencies in industry. So we'll see what we can do there. Maybe with any luck, they'll be stupid enough to elect a fascist leader, in which case it'll make one less problem for us as we put our sights on our true enemies over there to the north. Okay, so that's that. We still have to make some training divisions here. So I think we'll just start with some basic infantry. Basic infantry is good, and maybe one panzer division. We will do something here to get them ready to go. So what I'm going to do is train, or rather add this guy to an army. Let's see if I remember how to do this. And then we're going to give them one of our field marshals who has no army limit. His mission is simply going to be to guard Berlin, and leave it at that for now. Then what I can do is we can deploy. Oops, I guess I probably have to right click. Try that again. No? Why is it not working? I have to set a location first. Yes, I have to set a location first. There we go. Okay. So these guys will automatically deploy to this guy, Günther von Kluge. He will be in charge of training our troops as they come out. I'm kind of 50-50 on the training thing. In my 30 seconds of research on the Hearts of Iron wiki, it seems to be kind of half of one, six of another, half a dozen of the other. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, if it's a good idea or not. But we'll be focusing mostly, I think, on highly trained infantry. We're going to try to keep our army fairly basic because I'm not really intending on conquering a lot of this. We'll take naturally some of what we need, but until World War II actually triggers, we're going to be keeping it fairly conservative, I think. So we'll do that and keep the troops trained up so the ones that we do have are actually useful. And then we'll get the rest of our troops in order here. So who's going to go where? So let's grab maybe these guys. We'll add them to another general. This guy can be a regular general. We'll grab, let's see, not Rommel, Heinz. Yeah, we'll add them to Heinz Ketchup Man. And we will just put them on the front over here. Seems like a good idea. We're going to grab our tanks. We start off with some tank guys and some SS regiments. So we'll add that. This one we're going to give to Mr. Rommel, the famous of all Rommels, the most famous of all Rommels. For those that don't know, he had 12 brothers and sisters, and he was the only one that made anything of himself. By the way, guys, I'm a World War II expert, and I also fluently speak German. So this is going to be as educational in terms of history and language as it is going to be in terms of the gameplay. And this guy, to rename, so I don't forget, he's also going to be named the Training Duden. Duden, of course, being the German plural form of dude. Okay, so Mr. Rommel is going to go over here. Make a front over here to guard it. The Danish. And then who do we have left for infantry? Suppose these guys plus this guy we will assign to yet another army, an infantry army, who will be run by Erich von Manstein, and he will go here as well. Alright, so I'm going to hit go, and let's see. Okay, so our resource thing went away. We're getting the trade in now. So with trade, for those that haven't really played around with this, you're trading your civilian factories for resources. It's kind of handled abstractly, which I appreciate. It will slow down the production of the construction of these things, but it's well worth it because we'd rather slow down this bit and have the resources we need to build what we actually need. So we're going to wait a while. We need to get up to, I believe it is 49, 45 to justify a war goal against Denmark. It cost me 50 points. Okay, it's 50 total. So we have a few minutes to go here. This guy's training. What are we going to do with these guys? Why don't you go over here? Actually, you know what? We'll make another army here. You will be run by Theodor von Bock over here, guarding the Polish front to guard the imports of sausages. And you guys will just join his glorious power, control, click to add them to the front. There we go. So they're going to be well on their way. And this guy, is he already going? No, he's not doing anything. So we'll add him to this guy over here. Add to this guy, control, click. Okay, so we have our political points now, so let's immediately begin to justify our war goal, because this will take a while. The pro of being with world tension going up is it makes justifying war goals much faster and much cheaper, which is excellent. But for the time being, until we have that, we just have to do it the old-fashioned way, which is very slowly and bit by bit. So you are doing nothing. You are doing nothing. I will add you also to him. Control, click to add to the front. And then we have all of our infantry over here. So while we're waiting for our war goal to complete, what else should we be working on? I guess we can start setting up. Oh, you Alpine guys, why don't you come up here as well? Yes, Adolf Hitler questions Danish sovereignty. Who determines the borders of a nation? Well, we are about to determine the borders of a nation, if I may say so. We'll add you to purple and control click over there. So get up there, you son of a gun. Are you going? I don't know what I just did. Maybe not. It's... Oh, shit. Obviously, still learning. Rookie mistake. Oh, whatever. They can go over there and guard that front. We don't have to worry about Poland so much. You'll be a lone guy. Spanish Civil War is triggering. What will this mean for Spain? So the Spanish Civil War is a good chance to engage your troops and go play around with the fighting a little bit. Honestly, I don't care. They can do whatever they need to do over in their little corner of heaven. Add a one guy to you. Fedor, sorry buddy, I ruined your army. You come back over here and then we'll fix that up later. Maybe we'll grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go there. Control click. Efficiency. Going back and forth. This is obviously the most efficient way of having realigned our armies. And efficiency was what the Germans are all about. All right, the Reichsautobahn is done. Excellent. So now we can start our next national focus. Now I can start the West Wall, but if the Rhineland has been remilitarized, you also gain something else. So I'm going to start with the Rhineland first, so I can take full advantage of this. The West Wall just adds forts, I think, to this front over here, but we don't want to waste half of the benefits. So we'll remilitarize. It'll add a little bit of world tension, but we'll still keep us far under the 25% threshold. If we're fast, and as long as some of the other idiots in the world, like the Japanese and the Italians, don't do a bunch of crazy shit to drive up world tension outside of our control, we should be able to maybe take one, even perhaps two countries before starting a world war, which gives us a bit of a head start, which would be nice. So we could even maybe take, I don't know if we could take maybe Poland ahead of time without using the focuses to do that. We will find out. All right, again, while we're waiting for the war goals to start, let's take a look at some of our battle plans. So the battle planner system is actually kind of cool. It's a bit of a bitch to work around with. Great in theory, not always great in execution, which I think is more about a matter of practice than anything. And of course, Paradox being Paradox, I think the interface is maybe the most historically accurate part of this game, in that it is essentially run by tube technology. So it's a little bit of a bitch, but maybe it's one of those things they'll clean up and patch. I just find when you get a lot of armies in the same military sort of plan, it gets a little bit crazy. We're denouncing the Danish ideals. Yes, we don't like Vikings and we don't like pastry. We're all about just oil and sweat and bratwurst. Okay, so the first line of attack is we're going to punch right up to here. Actually, we will punch right up to here, which will give us a path here. So the infantry are going to punch straight up. And then once they're done that, they'll go right to the edge and conquer all of that, which will give Rommel and his bros are going to, let's see. We're going to go here first. And then we're going to punch straight through to here. Straight through to here. No divisions. Why is it saying no divisions? Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. Electronic mechanical engineering. Done. So we've got a cool, we just invented iPods. And then next thing we're going to do, what do we want? We want the thing that's going to give us research time. We're focusing on our research first. We need to get research and industry up as soon as possible. Okay. Rommel, why are you saying no divisions? Delete that and delete that. So 4 divisions, so that one's good. Make sure you're selected. I don't know if maybe I didn't have him selected or no divisions. Well, you know what? It's okay. The tanks are fine. I'm actually less concerned about the tanks because the tanks are good for sort of, if you're going to manually control anything, manually control the tanks, because that way you can use them to encircle and punch through weak spots. There are no, I don't understand. Delete all your orders. Delete all your orders. This is your front. X. Draw that one. Order number 1. X. Order number 2. No divisions. And yet you worked fine. I did the exact same thing. Fuck it. Whatever. That's your order. We'll just manually assign you once we're done. I don't know if it's because we need to make sure that these orders are behind these ones. So that could be. So maybe what we'll do is we'll take you. Our infantry. No. Pink infantry. Should probably rename these guys. And then we'll delete perhaps this offensive line. So then their first push will be right to the edge, which will grab... Yes, we are questioning your sovereignty. Pastry should not have sovereignty. Your inanimate objects. Delicious, but incapable of running a country. All right. So Mr. Brown. Offensive line, yes. Come here first. No divisions. How about if we... No divisions. You know what? Fuck you. Whatever. We'll just control the tanks manually. I don't know why it's being such a bitch. We'll do that. So at least they get a planning bonus. So they'll punch through. So we're going to send the infantry in first to kind of engage these guys. And then we will take the tanks in behind to kind of swing around and hopefully capture this victory point, Odense, and Copenhagen as quickly as possible. Ethiopia, what the fuck are you doing, buddy? So they just annexed the remilitarization of the Rhineland. Yes, it is German territory. Station troops in the Rhineland territory close to the French border. A clear violation of the Treaty of Versailles. It is German territory. We are done. So we are raising world tension a bit. However, Italy going to peace actually reduced it. But Soviet Union supporting the Republican Spanish increased it. Those assholes. So I think Republican Spain is probably going to... Nationalist Spain is probably going to lose. That's okay. I don't care. All right, so now we will control or build the West Wall, which will give us an opportunity to perhaps fortify this. All right, now that we have our divisions, why don't you, the singular guy over here that's already trained, go join Team Purple over there. Thank you much. And then our training guy is, and the trading student rather, is going to run a boot camp and start getting these guys doing all sorts of crazy ass deadlifts. This guy's shooting. This guy's puking. He's already worked out so hard. He's just barfing his guts out. Denounces Danish ideals. Absolutely. We don't care for your particular brand of government, sir. All right, let's see. Modify government. What should we do? What should we do? Industrial concern. We could add 10% to electronics research. We do need a lot of electronics research. We do need a lot of everything, actually. Are any of these going to be useful right now? Civilian factory construction speed. And infrastructure and refinery. That seems like exactly up our alley. So we'll do that. Actually, we've got another 150. Let's slow in the draw here. So maybe we'll do that as well. We've got lots of points. Germany gets a ton of political points. We're really swinging our dick around, our bratwurst around when it comes to the political side of things. All right, we got a research spot open. What are we going to grab next? We must rally behind this cause. Yes, we're all again questioning your sovereignty. I think that's the exact same pop-up that came up before. Oh, we're already researching that. Pardon me. So dispersed or concentrated? Dispersed or concentrated. So what's the difference? Plus 20% or plus 10% output? I think we'll go with plus 20. I think this one gives me the ability to retain and factory bomb versus vulnerability goes down. But I'm going to use the airplanes. I figure if we can build more airplanes, we won't need to worry about our factories getting bombed. Sound logic to me. Okay, so our battle plan is good, is in place. How far away are we from our claims? Does it tell me? Tell me, asshole. October of 36. So June, July, August, September, October. So 4 months. We can wait and be patient for 4 months. So you're training. Where are... Did I say to build some tanks? I don't know if I did or not. We'll set the tanks to come out, and any tank that we build, you go to... Is this Rommel? Yes. Rommel, also famously the most handsome of all the Rommel family. Interesting fact, ramen noodles were actually named after World War II as a mispronunciation of Rommel's name. The Japanese so admired the German military and their tactics in World War II, they renamed their national food after him. All right. So Rommel, you're going to get all the new tanks that come out. You're going to just hatch them out of your ass. Construction 1 is done. Okay, so now we have learned how to build steel beams and steel girders. Resource gain efficiency. We probably will need this. Germany is pretty resource starved. And plus 10%. Are these all the same? Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that'd be plus 50% overall. Sure, we'll go with that. Seems like a good idea. Pay off in the long run. The less we need to bring in, the better for us, is my train of thought. 33 factories. So I think we started out with 30 and we've built 3 so far. Is that right? I don't know. So we have 3 more to go, which will give us 36 factories for those of you that have your calculators out and are double checking my math. So you guys, Team Purple, should rearrange some of these names a bit. Let's create some theaters so we can keep these guys straight, so I don't have to keep figuring out who's who. So Team Purple, you're going to go to New Theater. And this is... oops. We're going to rename you. What are we going to call you? Call you the Whedon Invasion Force. Because, of course, Whedon being the German plural form of marijuana is their natural export in Amsterdam. And we certainly want a piece of that. It will definitely help us in the war to come. So we're going to create an offensive line for these guys. They're going to swing around really just to here. Actually, I want them to swing this way, not that way. So let's delete that. Let's try this again. So start here and then here. So we want these guys to kind of swing up and from the top of the river. By the time we're ready to invade these guys, I'm certain we will have our tanks ready in order to maybe swing from behind. And we can just manually control the tanks. But at least these guys will start building up their preparation bonus. It goes up to 50%, which is good. And it's a tick down bonus. So even if you completely abandon your plan and just decide to go fucking hog wild and ape shit manually, you can still keep that preparation bonus. This is taking fucking forever. Nobody cares about the Danes, Germany. German Reich stands united under Hitler. They do indeed. Otherwise, this game would be real short journey. Okay, these guys are halfway, 46%, still working on it. This does take material, so we are burning through some of our material, some of our production. You can see we still have a need because of that. It seems to be ticking. Actually, it's full now, so we're good. All right, the west wall is done. So we're matching the Maginot line with our own, or is it Maginot or Maginot? I'm not even sure. We're matching the French defensive line with our own. We've got a little baby version. And next we're going to do industrial efforts. So these two seem to just give free building slots and free civilian factories, which is exactly what we're working on. So we're absolutely going to want those. That is certainly up our alley. Unpause again. Need to keep remembering to do that. So logistics, we need more light tanks. Certainly need more light tanks. Well, once we're done with some of this infrastructure stuff, we will switch over pretty quickly to some military production. We need planes, we need tanks, we need just hordes and hordes of infantry to throw at the walls of our enemies. Modify government. Okay, do we want to do anything else? We don't need more manpower just yet. I haven't really screwed around too much with trade laws. I'm going to leave it alone. War economy. Construction speed is plus 20%, but the conversion cost is lower. This reduces it, but we only get... So that's consumer goods factories, 15 and 20 and 30 and so on. I think that's how much is available. So that would actually reduce our ability to build stuff. So I'm going to leave that alone. I don't understand. The Olympics, we won 33 gold medals. Good for us. All of them, of course, historically, were in the goose stepping races. A sport that we invented solely for the fact that we could win 33 gold medals strictly in that one sport in all the divisions and weight classes. A clever move on Hitler's part, if I may say so. So I'm going to move our ships over here where they're nice and safe. Same with you. Let's go chill next to our Polish friends. We'll maybe merge all of these together. Again, the Navy thing is going to be probably our weakest point. So we're just going to put you all grouped together. And we're going to put you under our strongest guy, Karl Duntz. So named after the dunce cap, or vice versa. I can never remember. And you are going to be on search and destroy missions here and here. And we will truly find out if Danishes float. I don't know if they have a Danish Navy. Are we done yet? October. God damn it. One more month. Well, we can still modify. Let's see. What else do we need? Material. So give us a small arms research time. We're probably going to be focusing a lot on small arms. That would be nice. Any more political advisors that we need? War industrialists. We don't not building into that stuff yet. Anti-air construction speed might be nice. Maybe we'll just go for this guy for now. Small arms. Are we actually researching any small arms right now? No, but we will be probably shortly. So we'll get ahead of the curve. Why not? All right, I'm going to put it on pause for a second. That's probably a good time to take a break. We've got the war in motion. The Danes are trembling. They are shitting their pants at the idea of being invaded. And luckily, with tension being so low, nobody gives a shit. So it should be an easy, close victory. But you'll have to tune in to next time's very special episode of Hearts of Iron 4 to find out. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys later.